Internet. Praying to the internet gods. What's going on, crypto fam? Happy second day of the week. And welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. I am one of your hosts, David, and we are coming at you from our studio here in the heart of the city of Sin, Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily, only on the weekdays, live shows. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer, nothing that's said on this channel should be taken as financial advice. So please, as always, do your own research. With that out of the way, I'd like to introduce you to the man, the 3-time in a row loser on Around the Blockchain. Just kidding. Big Rob, what's up?
Hola! Welcome, Crypto. It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, and we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we don't just do live streams. We also do YouTube shorts. We periodically upload videos when we have time, and we are also active in all of the chat rooms, including the live ones and in the comment section. So make sure you actively participate. Now, question for you, David.
Did I throw you off? I threw you off, didn't I?
No.
Yeah, I did. You didn't do your welcome.
Welcome.
You know, Rob, I feel like, all jokes aside, winning 7 times in a row, I know it gets hard. So I know what you're doing, and it's admirable. I know you're letting everyone else win. So I just wanted to thank you. Thank you for being so humble and having such humility.
Okay. Thank you.
Now that's how you give a compliment, my friend.
Okay, cool.
To the point, he doesn't care. Rocco, show your face. Rocco, you gotta show your face more, man. You're very popular in our community. Do you even have a nickname? Robin, Big Rob, he gave himself that nickname. You were given one by the community.
You know who gave me that nickname?
You did.
No,
literally
Charles. Charles used to call me Big Rob all the time.
Charles calls everyone big. What up, Big Dave? What up, Big Rob? What up, Big Rocco? Rocco, though, the community has
a natural.
They've given you Don Rocco. That's the dopest nickname I've heard. So yeah, show your face a little more.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, guys. Right. Thank you, everybody.
We love you, Rocco. All right, Robin, let's do roll call. We have a new person in the chat.
Oh, do we? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got roll call. First in the chat, we got Jimmy. Let me get a round of applause for old Jimmy for being first up in here. All right, and then we got Strictly Sports, Big D, Big Chili Willie, Stereo 2s on the ones and twos, and in the producer chair, also Broke Yoshi, Chef Murder, Shizzy, Mervin, AZ, and then we got Why You Loud Gang, Jonathan, and AZ, Nick, K Factor, Nordy.
Has Nick been here before? Nick DZZ?
Oh, Nick D's. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. I think he's been here.
I like Sleepy Nick because it's got 3 Z's at the end. Sleepy
Nick.
Sleepy Nick.
And then Sir Babe narrowly made the roll call. So
did you give a shout out to my boy Marky Mark?
And Marky Mark. Did I say K Factor, Nordy? I don't know. There you go.
Did. So what'd you guys think about Larry yesterday? Robin, will you be doing that again?
They always say a lot of animals' personalities come from their owners. And
annoying and loud.
When you started talking back to me, bro, he started yelling. I'm just saying. You raised your voice. He was like, hold on. He's like, ah!
Larry, loud, annoying, just like Robin. It makes sense, Robin.
Yeah, you know what? It is an adventure just to even bring him into the studio. So that will be the last time I bring him for this year. So
maybe I'll bring my Bitcoin bearded dragon in. His name is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't make noise. He just chills. Anyways, we got a lot to talk about. What do those
things eat? They eat crickets?
Worms, earthworms, mealworms. They also eat cockroaches, and they like to eat kale. Mine is a vegan, so kale, carrots, pinto beans. We have a lot to talk about today. If you're watching our show after the fact, we will have timestamps in the video so you can navigate freely as you please, but we do recommend watching it from beginning to end so you don't miss out on any exciting content throughout the show. Today, we're going to be talking about the cryptocurrency markets. What's going on? What kind of price action are we seeing? Where's Bitcoin headed? Where's Ethereum headed? We also got news on Polygon, another bridge hack, VeChain plus Amazon. What does that mean? AMP token gets delisted from one of the largest exchanges in the US. Also, Terra Luna back on the rise. Talk about that as well. And Cardano news and a Coinbase lawsuit. And our hot take today, we'll be talking about Tiffany and Company.
And a big special guest as well is expected to join us as well.
Yes. We will not ruin the surprise. You'll have to just wait and see. In about 30 minutes, we'll have a guest.
Yeah. And then also, you know, I'm curious if in today's show, we will be opening up the club. Are we going to open the club today, David?
75? Yes.
Not 75.
It's 75.
60. Get it out of here. Once we break the new threshold, and that's the new high. Because yeah, we need to get over 60, stay over 60 for at least a couple minutes, not just a second.
You know, Steph Curry brought up a good point. You know the video, your members only video you did. By the way, if you're a member, thank you so much for supporting our channel. If you're not and you want to support the channel and become a member,
that is literally how we pay our lease here. And actually, that's how we pay about a quarter, no less, 1/5 of our lease.
That's besides the point. If you want to support this channel and be a member, the link is in the description of this video. But you remember in your video, Larry was bobbing his head to some music.
Yeah.
So Steph Curry said he's disappointed we didn't get to see him do that live. You know, I am as well now that I think about it.
You know, I forgot to bring his little maraca. He's got a little tiny maraca. He's like, shh. Anyway, it gets down.
All right, Robin.
Que pasa?
Take it away.
All right. So taking a look at Bitcoin. Oh, look at this. 0 trading fees on Bitcoin.
That's Binance.
Right? For Binance, for trading Binance on Binance. Okay. Oh,
I don't think I've ever seen that kind of notification on CoinMarket.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, CoinMarket
they're
is
sneaking. They are owned by Binance.
There you go.
Sneaking in the ads subliminally there.
Unacceptable.
So Bitcoin sitting at $23,348.05. And where are we at? You know, we were starting to take a leg down, as you see here, from 24,000, almost 24.5. We were as low as 22 as of a few hours ago. And so nice little reversal. There are a few things going on the macro side. There's no big announcements as far as like Fed rates or anything like that. So I do think that as far as like some gigantic price moves when it comes to S&P 500 and NASDAQ, without any like global macro, maybe geopolitical news, I doubt that we're going to see any big sways in the traditional markets. And so for that reason, I doubt we're going to get any big sways in the crypto markets in the next, say, week or so, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. So I think this might be a good time to consolidate, especially if we start trending down closer to the $20,000 mark. I think it would be a good place to start turning on your DCA back on. And as I mentioned, even if things do slip further down, which is likely, I guess, and, you know, it's still, you know, if you have the HODL mentality, you know, if you're purchasing for a 2-year window, you know, what a better time than to buy Bitcoin where, you know, it's almost at the same price level it was at the height of 2017. And so you always heard this narrative in the 2017, like, hey, you know, if you would have bought, you know, Bitcoin then and just held it for 4 years, you'd be, you know, you always hear that.
Right.
And so as you can see here, let me, I'll just zoom this thing in. Yeah, I mean, look, you see where this, and it's funny that this happens to line up perfectly, right? I mean, this is the major support, which was the last, you know, at the time was an all-time high, right at 20,000. And lo and behold, we bounced straight off of that, which also coincides with the 200-day moving average. And so, you know, can we go lower? Yes. Does it really matter on the grand scheme of things? You know,
well, it depends on what your target is. You know, if you think 14, 15, 16, then
but if your time horizon, what I'm saying is if your time horizon is 2 years,
your percentage return is
whether missing out. If we don't go under 20,000 anymore, which is on the table.
100%.
You know, and I think it's more likely that we test. I think it's more likely we test, you know, 18, 17, 15,000. But wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that was the bottom and we don't go under 20K anymore. It is on the table. So if we get if that's in the cards, if that's a possibility, a realistic possibility, and you see Bitcoin, you know, pull back to 20K, say 20,500, why not some DCA? I'm not saying go all in, but hey man, pick up a little bit because you know, a lot of the indicators are saying that might not go much lower for the short term. Long term is a little different.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, real quick before we move on, Robin.
What's up?
Hit or Miss wasn't here yesterday, but Hit or Miss upgraded to a hodler. So we'd like to recognize you and thank you for your support. Rocco, round of applause.
So little reversal in the Nasdaq. Somebody's quarterly reports came out because Nasdaq was sitting at 1% in the green just about 30 seconds ago.
Great flippening.
So somebody's report came back, but either way, pretty close to dead even, anyways. So Nasdaq pretty flat right now. Dow Jones down 0.75%. So as I mentioned, not too much to take away here. Crypto fear and greed index, though, just sentiment in the market. We're at 31, slightly off of yesterday, 33. So a little bit more uneasiness. So yeah, that's all I got today on traditional stuff.
Okay. Well, before we go into some crypto charts, so the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. By the way, if you don't understand how important or how prestigious of a role Speaker of the House is, this is a line of command. You have President, Vice President, and then Speaker of the House. And so she is the first Speaker of the House, the first high-ranking official in 25 years to step foot in Taiwan.
I'm curious. If we were going to rank our studio here, it'd be Robin, David, then...
it would be Rocco, David, the couch, the cameras, the door, the mailman, and then Robin.
Okay.
So if you're not familiar with the whole Taiwan thing, Taiwan used to be a part of China. Civil War happened. They broke off. China still considers them part of the mainland. Taiwan declared their independence. They don't want anything to do with it. And the U.S. is kind of stuck in the middle. Taiwan is very important because they produce about 70 to 80% of the world's semiconductors, the most advanced high-tech semiconductors, computer chips. So they're very vital to everything. And you need that not just for computers and GPU units, but military, aircraft.
It's funny. They declared their independence over 100 years ago. So it's kind of, I feel like you're grasping at straws there. But like, it used to be part of, like, that was over 100 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I get it. I'm not just saying anything that happens in Russia and the Ukraine conflict. I think it's awful, and Ukraine should have their own sovereignty, their own nation, their own damn nation. But at least you can make an argument if you're on Russia's side that, like, hey, it was only 20 years ago they were part of Russia. But yours is well over 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hong Kong has been like 20 years.
Yeah. And so the rhetoric from China, they said if Nancy Pelosi steps foot, there will be essentially threatening. So we know how
she landed today.
She landed today.
The plane landed.
The plane landed. So everyone's expecting some escalation of provocation from China, whether that's flying into the neutral air defense zone, going into the Taiwan Strait with their military ships. Now, how does this relate to the markets? Well, we know traders do not like uncertainty. And so when Rob and I talked about it this morning and we quickly glanced over, not necessarily the crypto markets, but the traditional markets, I was a little surprised that the markets haven't adjusted or reacted to this news. Robin, like what?
The thing is I don't think that Wall Street is going to react to this.
You don't think so?
Not for this exact particular instance. I mean, you have constant issues where North Korea will launch, nuclear missiles.
But this is the second largest economy in the world, bro.
I get that. I'm just saying that I don't think that off of, hey, provocations is gonna bring all of a sudden some panic in Wall Street. Like now, if there was a shot fired, a missile fired, some act of aggression.
Well, that's what China said they're going to do.
Yeah,
will they do it?
I get that. I'm just saying the promise of. I feel like nation states are just full of threats. Like, hey, don't do that, and then they do it, and they're like, "Told you not to do that." I just feel like that in the history of the world, especially when it comes to these major countries. I mean, you hear that all the time. I mean, you heard. The start of Russia-Ukraine thing. You heard this. Oh, hey, Russia. First thing they said, hey, if anybody meddles in our conflict, there's going to be great repercussion. Basically, threatening nuclear war. And then, lo and behold, the entire time, what has the U.S. been doing? Sending out all kinds of rocket launchers and planes and all kinds of drones and tactical equipment. And so, literally, Russia was like, "Don't do that. We're going to bomb your ass." Right?
Yeah.
And what do? We did it anyways. So I feel like countries just naturally threaten. And I think the markets have just heard this boy cried wolf thing so much that it's just.
And not to get too deep into stuff outside of crypto, but essentially China's got a 5-year window. They got one of the most aging demographics in the world. So the president, right, going up for re-election. This has been his cry, his battle cry since he took office 2 terms ago. And so they're saying he's got a 5-year window, 2027. Up until then is when China would be able to take Taiwan back if they wanted to. So I know people have done it in the past and countries have, made stuff like that, made those kind of statements. But a lot of people believe it's different now. It's something that like, back against the wall, it's now or never. Do you think China would do it? I mean, with everyone focusing on Ukraine and Russia, and we saw what that war, the implications it had on the economy, the supply chain, inflation. Imagine a military conflict between the 2 largest global powers in the world, the largest exporter in the world in China, and the world's largest economy by GDP in the United States. So I was just surprised to see the markets not react at all, because typically traders especially in the traditional market, they're very sensitive to information. They would rather overreact and adjust than to wait and then get caught with their hands in their pants. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm telling you, man, the market. It's every week there's another threat or another global
I get
crisis.
That, bro, but
the markets are gonna adjust when something happens. Nothing happened when literally the president of the United States was like, "Yo, Russia is gonna invade Ukraine. Russia's gonna invade Ukraine. Russia's gonna invade Ukraine." It was on every single day. They're like, "The troops are there. The troops are there." The markets did nothing. You know what happened actually during that? That was when we were having the S&P 500 was breaking all-time highs. So if anything, Wall Street literally doesn't give a damn, bro. And then when the actual event happens, that's when you get market movement when it comes to the geopolitical issues as far as war and conflict. At least that was the blueprint from the last event that literally happened 3 months ago. And so this is literally a top nation, Russia, going against Ukraine. Nothing moved in the market before. Nothing's going to change with a threat from China. They've been hostile against each other. Nothing has changed. It's not like they've been over here with sunshine and rainbows and been all friendly, and now all of a sudden they turn their back on Taiwan. This problem has been there from the onset of them becoming a nation state.
It's been
over 100 years. It's been over 100 years.
25 years since a ranking U.S. official stepped foot on Taiwan, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that.
We send diplomats and people around the world all the time.
But this is what I'm saying is I think you're underestimating the importance of this geopolitical situation that we're in.
I'm not saying I am not underestimating this as a major contributing factor or perhaps something that leads into a conflict. I'm not undermining it. I'm just saying for the United States stock market to move off of the fact that Pelosi landed over there, not a factor. It's not a factor. I'm sorry. And, at the end of the day, I don't even think they're going to attack. You got to think, if you saw what happened between Russia and Ukraine, if you're just on the third party, you're China, you're watching this. I mean, you gotta step back and be like, dude, this did not go favorably for them. For one, you got hit with massive sanctions, and you can make an argument that the ruble still held strong. However, you had all of the oligarchs, all of the top members in the Russian society, millionaires, billionaires, basically just got all their accounts frozen. And then on top of that, what people are underestimating is the exodus when it comes to retail sector, and basically the removal of international brands from like corporations. You had IKEA leave Russia. You had all of these European companies that had set up in Russia. They all left. And this was an absolute surprise when it came to the macro factors as far as economies. They expected the sanctions, but they didn't expect that there was going to be this retreat of all the companies that wasn't. You're not even talking about the United States companies. You're talking about like several countries from around the world just exited from Russia. Nothing to do with nation states. Nothing to do with politics, as far as like the actual government. It was just a company that was like, hey, we don't want to operate in Russia because we don't agree with what they're doing. And if you take that same premise, you add the sanctions, you add the exodus of all of the American-based companies, all the European-based companies from China, it'll be extremely dramatic on China. And China is way more dependent on imports than Russia is. Russia is a lot more self-sufficient. And then on top of that, and then if you look at the failures when it comes to the invasion of Ukraine, you look at Russia, you look at China. Taiwan is an island nation. They have one of the strongest militaries, a lot more pronounced than
per capita.
And they have over 1 million troops. They have a robust military, a good air force. They're lacking in the naval department, but it would be an absolute bloodbath, man. And I don't see China going through with it. I really don't. They would have to literally bombard and just straight level the island, destroy the whole place, and then invade. That's the only avenue for success for them. And I just don't see it happening. And I don't see Nancy Pelosi landing as a gateway to absolutely destroy the island. And if anything, don't get it twisted. China also is heavily dependent when it comes to technology from Taiwan as well.
Everyone is.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying China is more dependent. Well, like we are over here preaching like, oh yeah, we can't our semiconductor, whatever. We have Intel, we have we have a lot of other chips, that are made here. But China is more invested in there, and that is some of the case reason why they want to invade is because they want to control the chip production, but just it's gonna be a bloody mess. And if you take a look at the blueprint from what Russia is, with Ukraine, I mean we're over 3 months in, and they've outside of taking the Donbass region, they really have a lot of failures. Yeah. They have massive casualties, and this is over a 2,000-mile border that is Ukraine and Russia, and then now you have the seas. And if you know anything about military aggression and trying to conquer an island nation, it is ugly, bro. And so there's no rolling of tanks in there, man.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Obviously, no one wants to see World War III, but. All right, let's jump into some a couple charts here on crypto, and then we'll move into our hot takes. So the first chart we're going to look at is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, so I like to use the RSI, but today I'm going to use the stochastic oscillator. Same thing, oversold, overbought. Values are a little different. Anything over 80 is overbought. Anything under 20 is oversold. And you see we peaked here on July 28th, and then we came back down. This is the daily chart, by the way, on Bitcoin. We're still in this bear flag, and when we break to the downside, who knows, but it looks like we have one more leg down. This trend line here is going to be 21,300. If you are looking to scalp and take profit, here are some levels you want to take a look at. Taking the local high here from July 27th, which is around 24,000. If we do drop, if we do break down to break the pattern to the downside, which is how it should play out, The target to get back in should be around $18,147. By the way, if you like charting and you like technical analysis, what I'm using here is this Crypto Stackers Pro. A good friend of our channel and a good personal friend for us. He comes on every Friday. This is his software. He built himself from the ground up. So link is in the description if you want to. Go check it out. Next thing I want to talk about is Ethereum. So Bitcoin overbought. Ethereum, however, on the 4-hour daily or 4-hour chart is oversold. It is creeping back up. We're sitting currently at about 43, so right in the middle. But we creep back down here to the 1560, and we saw two nice big candles. Now, this candle here, I want to see how this candle plays out. If this candle, if the body lowers and it becomes essentially a shooting star or an inverted hammer, I would look for a break to the downside. Sorry, I thought you were saying something. If I go back to Crypto Stackers Pro, just to kind of check our margin pressure levels, I took the local low here on June 30th, which is right around $1,000. Looks like we're finding some support around 1540. We did wick down there, and now we're currently sitting at about 1654. The level, and then look at this 2x long level, right? The level you kind of want to take profit if you are looking to take profit and scalp, $2,054. Keep those levels intact. It looks like we do have very strong support at 1369, which we did see a wick down there. We did break above it. So I would keep these in mind. $2,000, $1,540, and $1,369 for Ethereum. And then moving on to Polygon Matic, we do have some news about some token inflation and whether you should be worried or not. But as far as price action, this is the 1-hour chart, so pretty short term. I drew a downtrend line from July 31st. We did break above, but this horizontal level of resistance here at 90 cents looks like that is resistance. It once, twice again, we broke above it, settled back in, broke below. What I want to see, since we got rejected here again, what I want to see is I want to see a retest of this trend line. And then for me to say with conviction that we have reversed the bear trend and are now in a bull trend, I want to see us touch this trend line right around 87 cents and then break back above this 90-cent level, retouch it again, and then take off. If we do take off, this is the sunset levels on Matic, by the way. If we do take off, the level I'd be looking at is about $1.20. $3 to $1.20 is a level I'd be looking at laddering out if you are swing trading Polygon or looking to scalp profits. Me personally, I am holding Polygon long term. I got in at $1.20. I bought some at $1.50. I also bought some at 40 cents. So I just keep adding to my bag. I'm starting to shift my favoritism of altcoin from Cardano into Polygon for the near future. They're both really good. I hold both, but hey. All right, let us move on.
I do want to.
Do you want to add anything, Rob? Go ahead.
Not with the charts. Oh, first of all, Super Bowl. I think I'm looking for some more entry points on Polygon.
Yeah.
I know you were talking about some bullish case scenarios. I'm waiting for that pullback, baby.
Well, if you're waiting for a pullback, Rob, what I'd recommend you do is look at this 87 cent mark.
So that
if we bounce off
just to go back down to that trend line there,
yeah,
and bounce off of it. So the trend line would where you said 80 cents would probably be a good touch on the trend line.
What are you looking at? 87 cents. And then you're probably going to get some resistance at 90. But if we break above, we want to touch 90 back again and then take off. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, super bullish on Polygon. Guys, remember that with the ETH merge, you're going to get a lot more activity, utility, more community, more use case, more transactions, and the gas fees, and they're not going to be adjusted basically. They're going to still, as you get more congestion on the network, we saw what happened during the last bull run. Gas fees go up. People looking for ways to use the network without paying the high gas fees. Nobody wants to pay $50, $100, $200, $300 for a transaction when you can do it for a penny on Polygon. Yeah. Only makes sense. Tons of developers are now flooding into Polygon as well. So if you take a look at their ecosystem in general, it is thriving, absolutely thriving as of lately. I want to make one more comment when it comes to the Taiwan thing, and it's not about like the markets. I just want to say that if that does escalate, if there is a an attack or something of that nature, it is awfully reminiscent of what happened in World War II, man. You had Japan declaring war on China, what started it, and then you had the invasion of Poland by Germany, and then basically the West was against both of those actions, and then the two countries who traded with each other band together. It's like almost a blueprint, right? And then they band together, and then all of a sudden, with the invasion of Poland, you had the UK and France immediately declared war on Germany as well.
Yeah,
and so could this be and this all took in the span of 2 years. So everyone thinks that World War II just happened like that. No. This was 3 years before it even really became two big fronts that were happening.
And the U.S. didn't even enter the war until
later. Yeah. And so it's just kind of scary to think, and with the supply chain issues that we've had, and this is all small and irrelevant on the grand scheme of things. War is absolutely just full of atrocities, death, and human loss. So what happens to crypto is really irrelevant. Because of that, at least in aspect of what actually happens during war. But, we are a cryptocurrency channel, so we're going to discuss the implications of it. And, in the event that China does go to war and China and Russia do strengthen their diplomacy and didn't end up banding together, you could see a situation where you have a World War III. And, that's bad for everything. Everything.
You know what it's not bad for the winning side? The economy. And I've said this before, and I'm not advocating for war. I'm just saying in the past, when the economy's been in the dumps, coming out of the Great Depression, we had the war. And then you had the Vietnam War after stagflation. It sucks to say this, but war is a way to reset the economy for the countries that end up coming out on top.
I mean, it is. It's also a different time, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of what pulled us out of in the past when it came to wartime was the lack of employment and productivity. And so we don't have a lack of employment right now. So where are you gonna find another X amount of millions of workers to produce the steel that's needed for weaponry and the iron and copper and to produce bullets. I mean, we can barely fulfill the most basic needs here around. So if we were in a deep recession where unemployment was at 10% or something like that, I could understand an argument like, hey, you know what? At least if we in wartime, there would be positions to fill, but because the baby boomer generation is all retired, and then
they would get their asses called back to work.
I don't know, man. People retire. I mean, people die. You had a lot of people die from COVID, honestly.
Yeah, no, I know.
And then you had a lot of people that are retired, and there's a lot of people with disabilities, man. Like my father retired during COVID. It doesn't matter if we're at war, he ain't going back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude's not in a physical condition to work a 40, 50 hour work week. And then this is the same thing that other baby boomers in that generation. You're 65 years old. I don't see you building bullets, bro. I'm sorry. You're not over here welding tank treks together.
I'm sure there's other things they can do. That's besides the point. No one wants to see war, but is it on the table? Yeah. I mean, 2022, the 2020s has been so weird. You had the pandemic, you had the supply chain thing, you had the Russia war, now you got monkeypox, you have like the state of the economy is in, and we can't find workers, but inflation's high. It's just a crap show, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah, man.
But as far as relating to cryptocurrency is borderless. You don't need the trust of a country. It's not pegged to outside of obviously stable coins.
I will say, if we do go through another global war, and then we're kind of reestablishing a monetary system
cryptocurrency will have
in the same way that it has in the past. I think cryptocurrency is going to rise to the top
100%.
because it circumvents sanctions. It helps in nation states that are under
essentially
bombardment.
agnostic.
Yeah, if you're under bombardment and you're having all kinds of issues, you're having all kinds of hacks or whatever it is, you have this borderless, trustless system that isn't influenced by politics, can't be printed, and you can't print yourself a bunch of money just because you need money, and so yeah.
Sir Babe said, "Old people are strong." Ask me, I'm old.
So I do want to say,
We got a new person.
Who we got?
Matt K. Matt Katsaba.
Matt K. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
He said, found us last week, loving it. Well, we love having you part of our community, my friend. Make sure to stay active. Our community is very tight-knit, super friendly.
Also, guys, make sure, it seems like the chat is a little stale today. I'm not saying that the personalities are stale. I'm just saying there's not too much chat activity. So
maybe they're just tired of you talking.
So go ahead and say what's up. Put some stuff in the chat. YouTube favors an active and chatty chat.
Chatty chat.
Chatty chat.
All right. Speaking of chats, let's.
Rachel. I want to say hi to that.
Rachel. Where's Rachel?
Did I not refresh her?
All right, so we got also Justin McFritz, the one.
He's been here before.
Yeah, and
Justin,
then
welcome back.
Rachel Chen too.
Rachel hasn't been here. Robin, drop it all out for my girl, Rachel.
Rachel. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
Welcome. All right, Rocco, hot take, go.
It's hot.
Well, I've been mesmerizing Big Rob. All right, hot take today. Let's kind of cover what the topic we're talking about, and then we'll discuss. So Tiffany and Company. We were going to go over this yesterday, but obviously, the internet went down. So apologies for that again. Fiber is coming, we promise. Tiffany and Company turning CryptoPunk NFTs into $50,000 custom pendants. Luxury jeweler brand Tiffany and Company, it's also my wife's name, has announced the sale of 250 diamond and gemstone encrusted pendants for CryptoPunk NFT holders. These pendants will be priced at 30 Ether, which is equivalent to about $50,000 at the time of writing yesterday. Pretty cool here. I'm not going to play sound, but this is kind of what it looks like. Essentially, whatever CryptoPunk you have, they will make an NFT pendant, and I believe you can. It comes with a actual pendant as well. Pretty cool. But we'll talk about kind of our take here in a second. It's launching in 3 days, August 5th at 2 p.m. What's UTC? Universal time?
That's London.
London time. There are 87 different attributes and 159 colors that can be used to custom design the pendants. Should all the limited edition pendants sell out, Tiffany and Company stands to make $12.7 million, 7,500 ETH. So that number substantially will go up if ETH makes all-time highs, which we know it will. But this is kind of a better picture of what it looks like. This is CryptoPunk number 3167. There's the front, there's the back. Looks pretty legit. And let's see what implications this has had on CryptoPunks. This is from the Larva Labs website. And we can see the overall stats. Currently, there's been over close to 74 ETH in trading volume over the last 24 hours. You can see the recent transactions. People are just throwing money out there. $200K, $150K, $235,000, $1.67 million for this alien punk. This lady punk here, 150 ETH. So obviously, bullish news. You got to remember, Yuga Labs took over CryptoPunks, and now you have Tiffany. I know Robin's been very bearish on Yuga Labs. He doesn't like Yuga Labs. Thinks I don't know why he hates him so much. But Robin, was this a good move by Tiffany and Company? What's your take on this? Is this something that we're going to see more of? Please go ahead, take the floor.
Hell yeah, I think why not? I mean, if you are a retail business and you can offer a product for the community that is crypto, I mean, these people are willing to spend tons of money on frivolous things. I mean, you can make the concept, you can just make the correlation like, hey, this community, they literally just bought JPEGs for $250,000, right?
Yeah.
And so at face value, these people are just throwing money away, right? I mean, you can make an argument like, it's an investment, but let's be real. They probably ain't living in a, $80,000 duplex, holding a $250,000 JPEG, right? So these people probably have more
Depends
dispensable.
on how degen they are.
That is true. But you know, if you think about it, you're probably in a situation where these people have tons of dispensable income, and they are a very passionate community. Otherwise, they wouldn't be dropping that kind of cashola over there. And so, yeah, and I mean that's what I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking that it's just smart. It's just smart business, right?
So this is not a cash grab?
Every smart business is a cash grab, right? I mean, why? Unless you're a nonprofit, why start a business if you're not a cash grab? I mean, here's the thing. Cash grab for me. Are you bringing something that has that is unique, some utility? Are you bringing something to the table that perhaps you can't find elsewhere? That's for me. And so here you're getting custom made jewelry from a reputable, probably one of the most reputable.
I mean, that teal box, bro.
Yeah, everyone knows that color. Is it teal? Have you ever bought your wife any Tiffany?
I was just gonna say,
have you? Because
So
I know
it's-
you're a cheap ass hasn't.
the hell? So my wife, her name's Tiffany, about 4 years ago. So babe, I was thinking, there's like a really nice jewelry brand that's named after me, and I'm wondering why I don't have anything from them. And it was our 6th or 7th wedding anniversary. I said, say less. I went and got her the cheapest pendant.
Ah, of course she did.
Just kidding. I got her a little necklace from there. Look,
Also, one last thing.
Go ahead.
This is supposed to be one of the biggest, probably the most expensive or most successful, whatever way you want to look at it, as far as a value that's ever been launched as an NFT drop, right?
right.
Or minting drop, whatever you want to call it. So each one is going for like, what, 30 ETH, right?
30 ETH.
So 30 ETH times, was it?
Well, the total was, if they sell out, 7,500 ETH, which at about $1,500-$1,600, you're looking at $12.7 million. Not just that, brand awareness. You're bringing the Tiffany brand into Web3, into blockchain and cryptocurrency. I think this is great, man. I know your whole thing is,
Here's my question. If you, let's say you have a lot of ETH, do you find that this is worth the value?
Dude, this is dope, man. If I had a CryptoPunk,
You had a CryptoPunk, you had some money.
absolutely.
Would you wear one?
Hell yeah, I'd wear it. You wouldn't wear it? Really?
Seems-
Dude, look how
seems-
clean
it's-
this looks. Rocco, pull up the laptop.
Bro.
Look how clean that is, bro. Look how clean that looks.
It is pretty.
That is nice, bro. That is nice.
But nah, definitely not my style. I don't think I'd wear it.
No?
No. Definitely not. I think it looks nice on a lady. I'm not saying that it's like for that, but I'm just saying that.
Okay.
Not my style. I'm more of the Jesus piece.
I don't think there's a Jesus NFT or a Jesus punk. If there was, you can get
Jesus
that.
punk?
Jesus punk. All right. Without further ado, we have a very special guest joining our show today. This is Rob from Digital Asset News, one of the largest crypto YouTube channels. He is joining us. So, Rocco, let's go ahead and patch him in. There he is. Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Hey, gents, how are you?
Good. By the way, I'm David. The gentleman in the Ola shirt is also Rob, but we're going to call him Robin so we don't get the names confused here.
That sounds good. Well, thanks for
Awesome.
having me on. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for making the time. Do you mind spending maybe a minute and telling our guests or telling our community what made you start your show and kind of your journey through crypto and kind of what you guys do over there at Digital Asset News?
Why I started this show. I started the show because everybody's getting sick of hearing about crypto, all my family and friends. So I said, I better just talk to other people who may be like-minded like me. And I started up a YouTube channel. There was half of that, and the other half was just really essentially boredom. Because as I was going through, I have a couple different businesses. One's an online education platform for nursing students. The other one is Amazon FBA. The other one is a sports facility, which I don't even run. So it was kind of like I was almost to the point of like mini retirement, which for people who are watching the show, never retire. It is the most boring thing you can possibly do. You must always challenge yourself. And like it sounds awesome, doesn't it? Like, well, I'll just sit at home, maybe play some golf, maybe do some traveling, whatever else. It sucks. It sucks. You must always have some kind of challenges in life. So that's why the channel came about. But then to answer your question about why crypto, I got into crypto actually it was in 2012 when my son came home and he said, "Hey, I got this great deal. There's a kid who's got a hard drive and it's 500 Bitcoin for $500. Do you want to do it?" And I said, "Alan, what the hell's a Bitcoin?" And he explained it to me. And I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. That's never going to take off. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I passed on it. I passed on it because I didn't know exactly what it was. And of course, I don't know how much 500 Bitcoin is worth right now. Tens of millions. A lot of money. But it doesn't even matter. That was my first foray into crypto. Even if I had bought it at $500, as soon as each Bitcoin went for twice that at $1,000, I would have sold. I guarantee I would have sold, just like everybody else out there, because you don't really know what it could potentially do. So, I mean, that was my first one. Then I got it back into 2017. I thought, well, these numbers are going up. I like that part. So I will invest in the crypto. And I went in, as a lot of people do, during a parabolic bull run, bought Bitcoin at 6,500, 9,000, 17,500, and then watched everything just erode like crazy in 2018 as everything went down. Because I was listening to the people that were most prevalent in 2017, 2018, which was Bitcoin's going to the moon. You have the diamond hands. It's going to 250,000, $500,000 or $1 million. And I listened to those people and I believed those people. Little did we know that those people lie to you. And that's when I said to my wife, look, we went in pretty heavy, so we got two options here. We could sell it all and take a big haircut, or we could do this thing called dollar cost averaging and just keep buying and just see where it goes. And I told her, I said, I'm not in the business of losing money. And we kept doing it. And then we kept buying Bitcoin at, 4,000, 5,000, Cardano at 7 and 8 cents, Ethereum at 300, 400. And it just seemed to work out. And now here we are. And I think right now where we're all at, and the people that are watching the show, I think this is kind of comparable to the 2018 timeframe, which is where everything's down. And I don't see this going to zero, especially as we get a lot of institutions and banks and even the U.S. government deciding what's a security, what's a commodity. None of this stuff happened back then. So you have all this happening. I feel like this is just a repeat of the 4-year cycles, and I'm excited to do it again. So that's my story.
No, the interesting thing is that, compared to the previous cycles, this bear market, you don't seem to hear so much, is crypto going to come back? I think that's a foregone conclusion that the top or premier assets, particularly Bitcoin and say Ethereum, are here for the long term. And so, if you have the hodl mentality, I think you can rest assured that, 2-3 year hodl is a good way to go. Question: do you part ways with any of your Bitcoin and perhaps like when the market is like overbought? So you do, because I think a lot. My thing as of lately is that we have this hodl culture mentality, and I don't necessarily agree that that's the best strategy across the board. I mean, just to simply buy no matter how high the price is, and then just hodl forever. And so I think DCA in, and then more importantly DCA out is something that I've become more accustomed to as of lately.
And I don't get the people that shun people who take profits. Like, what's wrong with taking profits? So, right? I mean,
no, it's right. You guys, where were you guys in 2017, 2018? When I was listening to all these crazy crackpots were like, you got to hold forever and never sell.
Never sell.
Yeah, me and David actually used to work together in a restaurant here in Las Vegas. And we were the crypto guys that, you couldn't get us to shut up about crypto. So then
annoying to a certain extent.
Then during the bull run, everyone started coming at us, from every direction, every side. We're like, whoa. And so that's what inspired us to launch our channel as well.
Maybe we should spend some money and open a studio.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, Rob. Well, let's get into some talking points here. So, Rocco, go ahead and pull up my laptop. The first article we're going to talk about is the Nomad token bridge, which was drained of $190 million in funds in a security exploit. The Nomad token bridge, a bridge to have experienced a security exploit that has allowed hackers to systematically drain a significant portion of the bridge's funds over a long series of transactions, nearly $190.7 million in crypto, which is pretty much the entire liquidity locked up in that bridge. They later suggested, though, that some of the funds were withdrawn by white hat friends who took the funds out and with the intention of safeguarding them. And then, if you're not familiar with Nomad, they are a token bridge that allows transfers of tokens and messages between Avalanche, Ethereum, Milkomeda, and Moonbeam. So, Rob, you might share your thoughts? Share your thoughts on this token bridge. We're seeing a lot of this. We saw Ronin, we saw the Harmony One. Is this something that can come back from?
Have you even heard of Nomad before this as well? Like another question.
No.
No, it's another bridge project, and I think bridge projects. I mean, just for the ability to go cross chain and to pull things in, and it's almost like remember back in the day when you would have like different cell phone services. I mean, imagine how crazy this would be if you're like, hey, what kind of cell phone service do you have? Well, I have AT&T. Okay, what do you have? Well, I have Verizon. Well, we can't talk because you're not on the same service as I am. And that's kind of like what bridges are supposed to do. The problem with bridges is that there's been so many different hacks. How do you trust any of them? And it's a funny thing because right before I was talking to you guys, I was talking to Ken Oling. He's one of the founders and the CEO of Meld, which is based off of Cardano. And we talked about working with Avalanche and being that bridge between those protocols and also Matic. And he goes, look, you have to understand, he goes, this will eventually be the future. Just right now, I mean, notwithstanding, if we're going to talk about Nomad, I don't know what exactly is going on, but it seems like, and what you just said about there's some white hat hackers who were there to take the money and hold on to it for safekeeping.
Right.
I mean, that sounds super sketchy. There's that part. There's also the part of, I know that there was a mixer was used to channel out these funds. And I also know that they're working with some type of team to, look at the on-chain metrics. So I don't know what it is enough to comment on it, but I can just tell you that bridges will probably be this future. The problem is, and this is what me and Ken were saying, is that who would you rather trust these days? Some centralized exchanges, some lending protocols that are in charge of by people, or just regular Joe Blow, you and me, CeFi, or would you actually put a little bit more of your faith into a DeFi protocol? Well, not DeFi like this. This is ridiculous, right? But as time moves on, I think the projects that move slow, that do the audits, that do the right things, will be the winners in the long run. And then these types of things will just go away. Imagine, and what we and Ken were talking about was, imagine if you could have everything on the blockchain. He goes, you are being audited 24/7, 365. He goes, imagine if you had every type of bank transaction and everything that like JP Morgan does, that everybody could look at any part of the day. There would be no more spoofing of precious metals. There would be no more of this money laundering. There'd be so many different people that were looking at it and safeguarding it. It wouldn't happen. I think that's what we're going to eventually get to. The problem is you have to get through all of this nonsense, which is just essentially a cash grab. And who knows I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know enough about this actual hack, but I see where things are going. It's not, crypto is not letting us down. It's the centralized players that have. And look at the ones that are doing the right things, like an Aave, like a Compound, that are still here. Not much of an issue. So we'll move forward.
It's well said. I think a lot of people are just putting in just blind trust when it comes into smaller projects that haven't been tested or haven't built a reputation. And the fact that they were in charge of that amount of money is surprising to me. I think a lot of people, if you take a minute just to step back and think about what a project is offering and kind of apply it to something that maybe you're more familiar with that you can relate to, I think things start to make sense. In the same way that if somebody's investing in a meme coin, for as an example, I'm like, hey, well, have you ever just bought a stock in a company that is named after an animal, or a cartoon character? Like, it seems kind of foolish, right? And in the same way with when it comes to token bridges, I like to, obviously, where I keep my crypto or my tokens, obviously a hardware wallet is the best practice. But, if you have your tokens on, say, the Ethereum network, and you have some on the Binance network, those are two different, basically custodials at that moment. And so if you were to apply that to your real world application, if you were to say, hey, I have money in Bank of America and I have money in Wells Fargo, and you know what? I'm going to trust a third party. And I'm going to give them access to my Bank of America account. I'm going to give them access to my Wells Fargo account. And then I'm just going to trust them to transfer money back and forth. Now, a lot of people, if you were to give them that option, like, hey, would you like to plug in this company to access both of your bank accounts and transfer money in between? But like, that would seem kind of as an unnecessary risk. And so
that's what the Fed does now.
Yeah.
But that's the federal, but that's,
But, most importantly, we're starting to see is that, it's all about the code here. And, there's always this big pushback when it comes to Ethereum with, the delays that they've had on their merge, Cardano with their slow roadmap. And, it kind of shows you that these projects have stayed around and haven't taken as many punches as, say, some of the newer projects. And, this mentality of, hey, maybe build it right the first time, research, test, and it seems to be working for these most successful players.
Here's the problem is people want to get rich fast. And, Rob brought up a good point. You said the ones that take their time, and as soon as you said that, the first project came to mind was Cardano. They have been bullied on the internet about taking their time, not just by community members and people on Twitter, but also you got Anatoly Yakovenko, who's the founder of Solana, over here saying Cardano's taking their time. So
I have did you see the Charles Hoskinson? I'll pull it up. So the Charles Hoskinson had a little brief update on his the Vassal hard fork. And so for that, they obviously announced a delay. I think it was yesterday. So it's just a delay by a few weeks, but this is kind of an insight when it comes into the programming procedures that is developing an upgrade or hard forking. And so this is just maybe a different perspective on how things are done.
Were underway. A collection of bugs were found, 3 separate bugs that resulted in 3 new versions of the software. And now we have 135.3, which looks like it is going to be the version that will survive the hard fork and upgrade to Vassal. There's a big retrospective that will be done, but the long short is that the ECDSA primitives, and amongst a few other things, are not quite where they need to be. And so that feature has to be put aside. But all of the remaining features, SIP 31, 32, 33, SIP 40, and other such things are pretty good. So those are in advanced stages of testing, and then a lot of downstream components have to be tested, like DB Sync and the serialization library and these other things. And that's currently underway, and a lot of testing is underway. As I mentioned before, this is the most complicated upgrade to Cardano in its history because it includes both changes to the programming language, Plutus, as well as changes to the consensus protocol and a litany of other things. And it was a very loaded release. It had a lot in it. And as a result, it's one that everybody had a vested interest in thoroughly testing. And the problem is that every time something is discovered, you have to fix it, but then you have to verify the fix and go back through the entire testing pipeline. So you get to a situation where you're feature complete.
So that's a different outlook on how to test your blockchain. And you can make an argument like, hey, how was the protocol built for Nomad? I don't know enough about the project. I don't know if you do, if you know anything about it, but obviously,
they were supposed to be very secure. But my question is, Rob, I want to. At what point do you draw the line of, okay, take your time, make sure everything's perfect, versus at some point you got to launch this
or
thing,
do you just not draw a line?
Works?
I don't care about the line. If it takes 20 years to make it right, then so be it. If you're going to replace traditional finance, you're going to replace the Visa network as something that grand, then if it takes 10, 20 years to do, then so be it.
Do you draw, Rob? Do you draw a line? And if you do, where's that line?
So it's difficult. I think that's what everybody's asking, right? Like, who's got the fastest horse and who's going to make it? I don't think anybody can say for 100% assurance of which one will actually be here. So for me to say, well, you're just slow. I mean, look, I still hold Ethereum, and nobody is slower than Ethereum to get to where they're trying to go. I had on Simon Dixon from Bank of the Future. We talked about this Celsius reshuffle, and he talked about how when he first got into Ethereum, it was during the ICO, and in the white paper they talked about how it was proof of work, but in a month or so they're going to go to proof of stake. And I was like, really? He said, yeah, that's how long it's been. So, like, for me, I just take a look and say, well, who is actually making advancements? And you can take a look at GitHub, you can take a look at the developer activity. And right now, I mean, I hold a lot of Cardano. We even have a Cardano stake pool here at DNews. But I'm not going to say that Cardano is going to be the end all be all and it's going to win everything. I think that's a little crazy. So I will just kind of spread my money around dollar cost average. So like the Ethereums and the Polkadots and the Avalanches and the Cardanos and even the Solanas, because who knows who's going to be responsible for what. So I just take a look at it and go, okay, which one of these is as far as like a layer one. Now getting it down into like for Nomad and those types of tokens or it's just a bridge project. So for me, I've learned my lesson as far as the risky part. It's not how much you make in this industry, it's how much you're able to keep. Because once Celsius did that pull, and once Voyager had the issue, and once Volt had the issue, I have received nothing but a plethora of direct messages and emails and comments about people who lost their life savings, who can't pay the rent, who have to tell their kids they're not going to go to college because they just blew all their money on those types of things. So for me personally, I don't care if I'm going to miss out on the next 20, 50, 250x. I just want to just have my consistent gains. And that's where I think just what your risk tolerance is. And for me, it's pretty low these days.
And that's a great point. And people's time horizons are so low. It's just this whole, you hear the story, oh, this guy invested in Dogecoin and he made, $1 million. That is not practical. And well, I believe, with what you're talking about with Polkadot, Cardano, all these layer ones that have been around that, that are large cap, in the long run, in my opinion, you'll do better if you just put your money in there and be patient versus try to chase the next 200x coin. Great points. I want to move on to the next little article here. If you want to pull up my laptop, Rocco. AMP token dives as Binance US unveils its delisting following the SEC claim that it is a security. If you're not familiar with AMP, they are part of the Flexa network. They're essentially they facilitate payments. Binance delisted them based off of, and I know, Rob, you've talked about this on your show a lot, with the SEC probe into Coinbase. Binance announced that it will delist the token out of an abundance of caution after the SEC alleged that it was a security. Was this the right move, or did Binance jump the gun? Rob, what are your thoughts?
I don't know if what this was all about jumping the gun. Well, I've had talks with Binance and where they're trying to go. And you have to understand that they already are approached by regulators. And they're like, again, I think they're in it for the long haul. And they're like, well, I don't want to be on the bad side of the regulators, so I'm just going to just delist it because I don't want to come down and have a bunch of fines for listing an unregistered security. Now, you can take a look at that and say, well, that would be everybody, wouldn't it? I expect more exchanges to follow, quite honestly. And I mean, the bigger question really is, does the SEC have the authority to say this is a security, this is not a security? No, they're not. They're not lawmakers. They're the enforcement agencies. So that is up to U.S. Congress to write those bills legally to define what is a commodity, a security, a currency, and so on and so forth. So did I think they jumped the gun? I would have done the same thing, quite honestly. I mean, if I want to move in the right direction, and some people might say, well, that's not the whole focus of crypto. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. And if you want to move forward, you have to look at the greater good. So I would have done the same thing.
But don't you see an issue, right? If this pattern continues and every time the SEC comes out and says, hey, this is a security, and these exchanges start delisting right away, isn't that giving the SEC too much power to know that, hey, if we can't regulate it because we can't get a law passed or whatever the case may be, we'll just say this is security, and they'll just delist it, which will accomplish what they want to accomplish
Like
anyway.
this one though is, you know, if you're trying to mitigate risk, I mean, the profit margin on AMP is significant, is probably just, you know, a drop in the bucket when it, you know, compares Bitcoin, Ethereum. So I mean, it makes sense that they would, you know, throw their hands up on this one. But yeah, you know, to double down on what David said about, like, you know, what happens if they're basically, you know,
Ethereum's a
push,
security, or is
they're
everyone
pushing,
gonna-
you know, larger projects, you know, say Cardano, you know, if we're on the Cardano subject, you know, what happens if they try to, you know, tighten the wrench on that, for an example. So
I don't know. What do you think, Rob? Are you worried that it's going to set a precedence?
So, well, first of all, for them to set a precedent, again, they're not the lawmakers, but they are doing regulation through enforcement. Then you have to also look at the flip side. Who also came out and contradicted them? Well, the Department of Justice came out and said that they're not securities. And the CFTC did the exact same thing. So it starts the conversation about, okay, now we have to get into the free market. Now we have to decide what exactly it is. The SEC can keep doing it, and they can keep going. Does that mean that they're going to be unabrided and just be able to do whatever they want to? I think there's going to be a point. They're not going to come in and say, okay, all 9,000 of these besides Bitcoin is now a security. That's going to happen. I mean, it could. Who knows? It's crypto. But at some point, there's going to come a point where these laws, especially like with the one that's coming about with Gildebrand and Lummis, to define what exactly is a commodity and a security will come through. And then we can just say, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So no, I don't think, I mean, you can say that, yeah, the SEC is definitely going to do this, but I don't think they can do that with every single crypto. And then all the other different agencies are going to say, yeah, go right ahead, SEC, do whatever you want to. The CFTC and the SEC are already butting heads.
Are you in the camp of like the Michael Saylor camp where everything's a security except Bitcoin, or do you think it goes deeper than that?
So, first of all, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Michael Saylor is a little bit biased. Okay,
yeah. Just a little bit, right?
And he can say he's not, but even on my channel, I'm like, look, guys. When I go through the daily list of all the tokens, I get excited about some that are up because guess what? I own them, and I'm biased, and that's just the God's honest truth. So for Michael Saylor to come out, I think he sees it through a Bitcoin lens, as well as Bitcoin maxis also see it through the lens. And do I think that the Howey test, which was created in 1933, can actually correspond to everything as far as digital assets and cryptocurrency and decide what is a commodity and what is a security and what is a financial contract? I don't think it really can. I think there has to be something else out there. So for me to say that everything's a security besides Bitcoin would be a little short-sighted. And I don't know enough to really put that in and say, yes, it definitely is or is not.
There is an interesting petition going around to get rid of Gary Gensler. It's got 19,000 signatures. It needs another 71,000 for it to be considered.
what's that say? You like cut off the head of the snake, like is that 3 more appear or something?
I
don't
All
think
I know
think
is-
that the SEC is going to pivot just because of the
second
chair.
in command, the commissioner, Hester Pierce, aka Crypto Mom. Obviously, he's very crypto friendly, so we'll see. Now, Rob, I know we got 5 more minutes left with you. So the last one I want to talk about is Cardano. Cardano staking is now supported by the Swiss bank. Signum Bank, the first regulated digital asset bank in the world, has added support for Cardano staking. Now, I want to take this into more of a broad conversation. And Robin and Rob, feel free to give your opinion. But do you think custody, like traditional bank custody, is something needed for mass adoption in the crypto space, or do you think that just completely goes against everything cryptocurrency stands for? What are you guys' thoughts?
Well, I'll go ahead and start. I'm always circle back to the adoption of cryptocurrency when it comes to my parents, particularly my dad. He is a long-term investor, just has zero exposure when it comes to cryptocurrency. And I think a lot of it comes with the adoption curve. Basically having to understand how the tokens work. What is an exchange, hardware wallet, a browser wallet, and all of that is very new to him. It seems as though he doesn't have the interest in learning it at this point in time. And, and honestly, it is a pretty big rabbit hole to go down. And if you are set financially, it might not be some undertaking that you want to handle. And so, with that said, I could also see that if the services that he's comfortable using, aka a bank or an investment fund, if they start offering crypto services in a platform that is easy to understand and mitigates risk pretty much with just a simple fee for being a custodial or perhaps a transfer fee, I think that is the path to get massive adoption when it comes to the retail sector and to bring in all of the new people that perhaps have an interest in crypto, just however they lack the understanding of how to custody and purchase it themselves. So I think this is going to be one of many stories to come as far as partnerships between blockchains and traditional banks. And I think this is going to be the gateway to the next bull run. And I think, maybe like Bank of America, maybe some of the large European banks will lead the way.
For me personally, real quick, I think with what happened with Voyager, Celsius, trust has been eroded in the retail space. I don't think the self-custodial option is easy enough for the average non-crypto enthusiast investor to be able to do. So I think it is very, very important that you have these commercial banks that people have their money with, that they've had their money with for a long time, that they trust, to jump into the custodian space. Rob, what's your take?
So I used to think kind of along the same way that you guys thought. I used to say to myself, well, let's say you got a single mom with 3 kids and she's working 2 jobs. What's the chances that she's going to have to learn it? And that's what I really thought. And then as time has gone along, and we saw what happened with Celsius and Voyager and Bald, I can guarantee you that single mom with 2 kids or 3 kids and 2 jobs would have really liked to learn how to self-custody. I know people say, well, it's difficult. It's really not that difficult. If you can do a wire transfer from a bank, you can self-custody. And I think there's a bigger issue with, you have to learn a little bit. Here's another example. What's harder to learn or harder to do? Write a letter or simple to do. Write a letter and mail it, or just send off an email. Well, when email, because I'm older, and I can remember learning how to do an email. It was kind of cumbersome at first, especially with crappy browsers that we used to have. But as time went on, it got easier. So I'm just telling you right now, like, I know people say, well, it's a bit difficult, whatever else, but I really do think that once people get into it and they get their ledger and they're able to transfer it, and then thankfully, like with your phones these days, remember when that thing called COVID? I don't know if you guys have heard of this. There was a big pandemic called COVID. And
wait, what?
Go out.
There was?
Yeah, there was this thing. Probably just in Louisiana. But what it taught you is how to scan everything. You'd scan for menus, you'd scan for parking, you'd scan for this. If you can do stuff like that, you can self-custody. Then also, whoever's watching this, if you guys don't understand, I got a free website, danteachescrypto.com. It's 100% free. I made it free. It'll always be free. And in Module 2, I show you exactly what a private key, a public key, how to use a ledger, how to transfer off, and how to keep things safe. And I can guarantee that what you guys had said about how this will lead us to the big retail rush and people will get into it and the banks will custody, it'll work until it doesn't, until some hack happens and they're like, what the hell? This is a big scam. It's not a scam. You should have been self-custodying the whole time. That's where I go.
That's interesting. Dan, we know you got to get out of here. We're going to drop the link to the website you just mentioned in the description of this video. Also, please go support the guests that take their time to come on this channel. They ask for nothing in return. All we ask of you as our community, go support them. Go follow him. The YouTube link is in the description. Also, pull out my laptop real quick, Rocco. Make sure you go follow Digital Asset News on Twitter. The handle is @newsasset. Post a lot of good stuff on there. Also, Rob, we really enjoy your content.
Yeah, man. I love your appearances with Invest Answers as well. That's always
James, James, and Ben are always doing the DCA show. It's hard because like Ben is so, or not Ben. Me and Ben are the same. We're pretty much bearish, but James is so bullish all the time. And we're like, James.
You mean Paul?
Huh?
You mean Paul?
Paul Barone?
Paul,
No.
yeah. Oh, okay, Ben. Okay.
Paul. Yeah. So like the last time it was me, James and Paul Barone from the Paul Barone Network, but usually it's me, James from Best Answers, and Ben from Into the Cryptoverse. And Ben's been around for a while, and James is like, it's bullish. This is good news. I'm like, hold on, man. But yeah,
he loves crypto. He loves Tesla too, man.
James?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Good guy.
You gotta
He's a
love
great
it.
guy.
You know what? All of those projects, Crypto General, Tesla. You know, it's obviously going to be a good hold. So, I mean, if it pulls back now, then who cares? You know. Yeah. So I get it, man. I love the bullish sentiment as well. So.
All right, Dan. Well, we truly appreciate you taking time out. Thank you so much. And we look forward to maybe bringing you on the show again in the future.
Yeah, man. Anytime you want to come on, man. Or if you're in Vegas, we also
we have a studio here in Vegas.
We got an extra seat next to David and an extra microphone.
Yeah. I used to live there. I got family there still, so
I'll
be out there at some point.
Oh yeah. Cool, man. Yeah. When you if you ever come out, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you come by the studio. Maybe take you to dinner or something. As a token of our appreciation.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Take care, Rob. Thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Adios.
All right. That's good.
Awesome, man.
I like how calm he is. He's like, well, no, not really. And then he makes his point. It was great. We're going to continue to keep bringing on high value, high profile guests for you guys, people that have been in the market for a long time. All we ask of you as our community is go support them.
You know,
subscribe, follow them. I mean, it's the least we can do, right?
No, also, you get stuck in a situation where, at least here in the confines of our studio, you know, I hear David's perspective, he hears my perspective, and whether or not you, whether or not you listen to what the other person says, they do bring influence on. And I know I do influence David as far as with my opinions, and he does the same. And so to get outside perspective and to get an opinion from someone that is outside these four walls, it brings a lot of value, because sometimes you just get stuck in your own narrative and you're blind to what's happening outside, or different perspectives. So
and then you get confirmation bias, where you only listen to people that say what you want to hear. If you want to be a well-rounded investor and just be knowledgeable, you got to take different perspectives, whether it's something you want to hear or not. So very important.
Although we do have a short list of not coming on our show people.
Very short. Yeah. But there's some people that just go against what you stand for morally, and we don't care how big their following is. But Rob was great. Rob, thank you so much again. We appreciate it. All right, let's move on. I thought we buried this thing and poured dirt over it and for a while now, but I guess not. Terra Luna retakes top spot of most trending crypto as traders bet on price rise. Despite the recent scandals, Luna, which is the new Terra Luna, right, version 2.0, has managed to recover some of its value in the last 7 days, gaining over 30%. And over the last 24 hours, they've reclaimed the lead as the most trending crypto on CoinMarketCap. Here you can see the picture here. The climb in the last 7 days is indicative that the investors believe that Luna and even Terra Classic can succeed in the crypto space. Robin, is there any scenario that you can play up and make in your head, in your brain, that Terra Luna has any chance of being a staple in the cryptocurrency markets? Robin?
Hell to the nah. Man, their reputation is so tarnished. They literally took us from, was it 45K?
Yeah.
They literally were the catalyst. So if anything,
you ruined my life.
You know, here's the thing. Like you could say that you lost your house and car and all this, and you can stem it all back to a job. Either way, like, you know, there's always, you know, the macro factors. You can't, you know, and I always subscribe to the idea that not one thing is the causation for all of your problems. And so, you know what, we're going to go to bear market anyways, and we're probably going to be testing 15,000. We're going to be under $20,000 Bitcoin at some point in time during the bear market. They're going to just expedited it. Now, with that said, There's a lot of people that are pissed off, and the reputation is tarnished. And also, the ego that came from the developers.
The founder, bro. The founder.
Yeah. And so Do Kwon, obviously very arrogant when he spoke about his project, which, having that personality does bode well for growing a community, because then, you're so excited about something and you're so bullish and you're so like, just brush off any negative connotations. That can raise a community. But at the same time, when things go wrong, you'll be like, man, like that guy was a clown. But anyways, I think that's how people view Do Kwon. I think that's how people view Terra Luna.
Here's the thing.
That they're just mad. People are mad and pissed off, and the image is not going to change.
Even if Do Kwon has nothing to do with Terra Luna, even if it's a whole new team, blah, 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 I think that's just the name, Terra Luna. It just incites some PTSD in people. I know a lot of people lost a lot of money, not just from holding Luna, but also from the other assets. Just like Robin said, they're literally the reason we went from 45 to 30K. Now, I'm not saying we wouldn't have gotten there, but I mean, that amount of drop, that's essentially what started the whole Celsius thing, the whole Voyager thing. So leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. I know I had some money in there. I get PT. When I hear Terra Luna, my blood pressure rises. Terra Luna, if you're going to try to relaunch with some devs or whatever, if Do Kwon's on it, change the name. Do something different. All right, let's move on. VeChain and Amazon have partnered. VeChain onboards Amazon Web Services for blockchain carbon management. Amazon will provide technology to scale up operations to a national and continent level per details of the agreement. VeChain announced a strategic partnership aimed at leveraging cloud computing and blockchain technology in a bid to bolster carbon management services, scale operations, and meet established targets set by authorities in China. Now, what was interesting to me is that China even had a carbon emissions target, right? I mean, they're the world's largest polluter, the world's largest carbon emissions country. So, Robin, bullish? Not really a big deal? Like, what?
Oh, yeah, it's bullish. I mean, I'd like to see.
Are you surprised VeChain is in the driver's seat with Amazon? Surprised it wasn't Algorand or Bezos?
Well, here's the thing. VeChain also happens to coincide with
C-Chain.
So VeChain, they do a lot, pretty much a lot of it is data management, facilitating transactions and, tracking, which is the bread and butter, basically the backbone of Amazon. And, I know this is Amazon Web Services, so it's a branch of Amazon's, parent company. But I think what they're doing here is they're using it for something that, they're using it for, to go green and carbon emission. However, what I think they're doing, what I think Amazon is doing is they're testing the waters. They're working with VeChain like, hey, this is somebody that we can, we can set a partnership now. We can create we can create a harmonious, inner workings as far as blockchain and our technology. And let's grow this thing, because what VeChain does when it comes to tracking would fundamentally change the game for Amazon. So this is a test run. And
don't mess it up for the whole industry, VeChain. Don't mess it up, all right? We're counting on you.
Here's the thing. Like, could you imagine if Amazon used tracking, tracking, data management, and all of the bells and whistles that VeChain is known for, and they applied it to Amazon's, base business model? Think about how much utility and how much value you would get out of VeChain. I mean, think about what would happen to VeChain. And so this could be one of those catalysts, the beginning of VeChain's number 33 at 2 cents on the CoinMarketCap list. So number 33 in ranking order as far as market cap, sitting at 2 cents. Did see a significant rally probably off of this news. But but still nothing super dramatic. If you take a look at, where VeChain is on the grand scheme of things, it wasn't, it's so far down from its all-time highs. I mean, all-time high was at 25 cents. So just think about it. Partner with Amazon Web Services could fundamentally improve the business model of Amazon. And I think this is two companies that just did a handshake that have a lot more growth to come. So a project I'm going to be looking at for entry points. And if you're looking at this chart, does it really matter where you get in at if this is a project you believe in? Because right now, compared to where we were, Easy was at like 13x from where we were at all-time highs. So I think they will surpass the all-time highs. See a 50 cent, 80 cent VeChain at some point in time during the next bull run. So very bullish on this as well. I think
We also did a deep dive on VeChain as well. Make sure you go check that out after this live stream, of course. Yeah, I agree with everything Robin said. We're going to see more of this. And what he mentioned about it being a test run, I mean, if this goes according to plan and VeChain doesn't fumble, you have Amazon is the largest, if not top 3 largest companies in the entire world, essentially leading the way, setting the precedence, and you can only imagine what the rest of the companies are going to do if this works. So VeChain, we're counting on you. All right, last article we're going to talk about is Polygon Matic. 1.4 billion Matic tokens issued in just 1 hour, and the price of the Matic token reacted, falling 6%. As part of Polygon's plan, 1.4 billion Matic tokens were unlocked from the vesting contract this morning. This volume of the total token supply. As Polygon co-founder Sandeep Nalwal explains, the unlocking was planned and affected Matic tokens that were blocked a year ago. Now, out of this 1.4 billion, 640 million belong to the project team. 546 million will go to the project team. Okay. And 200 million are distributed as a reward for staking. CEO also said to expect a big announcement from the Polygon team about Matic vesting in the following days. To me, now if this was another like a top outside the top 50 project, this happened, I'd be like, I don't know. You're telling me this is from a year ago and this is where it's going and you're not going to dump it on the market. I would be worried. But Polygon, their track record, I'm going to err on the side of I believe them. Robin, do you believe it?
They're fine. Hold on. What are you asking if I believe in?
So they're saying these were from a year ago. So the unlocking was planned and affected Matic tokens that were blocked a year ago, and here's where they're going. Now, when you see this happen, right, 14% inflation in an hour.
But here's the thing: like, if that's what they say, these transactions are transparent and should be on the blockchain. So, I think you could easily call your bluff on this. So, you know what? If it was a year ago, then it was a year ago. Here, pull up my laptop. So this is from the Polygon Twitter account. As per initial distribution, founders tokens share was to unlock in October of 2021 and April of 2022. They did not claim these tokens. Yesterday, those tokens, 640 million Matic, were claimed by the founders. They have committed to stake all the tokens to the network. Basically, just in their own words from their Twitter account, what you just basically said. Hey, they were unlocked a long time ago. Yeah, as you mentioned, if it was a smaller project, then yeah, it would kind of make me nervous. But if you're a founder of Polygon, are you trying to exit your position? You get what I'm saying? Like
after all these deals,
you're in the middle of a bear market.
But then again, you saw, Vitalik and the team dumping all those Ethereum tokens at the height of the bull market.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you already you're already a founder. You already started this thing, a long time ago. You've already gone through the ringer. And so at this point, like, why would you sell at the bottom? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
And it's like, and you unlocked your tokens. If it's all, to be correct, you unlocked your tokens a year ago. And so now, like, why would you just dump it now? Now, here's the thing. Also, if you picked it up at a fraction of a penny and you're sitting on, millions or perhaps billions of dollars, but more likely you're sitting on millions of dollars and you got in at a fraction of a penny, then sure, why not? Take some profits. You know what I mean? Because even though you're at the bottom of a bear market, you're still in extreme profits if, you got issued your tokens during, a launch. And so, I could see some of that, it wouldn't surprise me to see some of that flood into the market, but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's going to just straight dump all their tokens, exit their position, and be like, "I'm done."
Oh, well, especially like you said at the bottom.
Yeah,
well,
and for a reputable project that has staying power, you got a major catalyst
And they
coming
have
up with
longevity,
Ethereum.
too.
Yeah, you have the Ethereum network merge, and they're not going to alleviate any of the gas fees or throughput. So, what a better project to leverage right now if you are an ETH user than Polygon, honestly.
Amen to that. I am huge Polygon. Huge. All right. Let's move on to the last segment of our show. 5 more minutes, and then we will be done. Our NFTs. Metaverse. The University of Tokyo takes the classroom into the metaverse. In an effort to provide students with a new style of learning, the University of Tokyo has announced that it will soon be offering metaverse courses for their engineering students. I don't have much else highlighted. It essentially breaks down what it's going to be, the 3 different initiatives. It'll be a hybrid system, whereas metaverse and face-to-face classes will take in place. Is this the future? Like, I keep saying this, man, and this is why Japan is on the top of my list of when I can finally travel outside the country without kids. I'm going there. My first is Japan, Tokyo.
No,
Japan.
you can travel to Japan if you want to. The plane routes are open.
Talking about
You gotta
my
do is get a
kids.
ticket.
Kids.
Kids can go too.
Hell no.
Why not?
Do you think I'm getting on a 17-hour flight with 3 kids? You must be outside your mind. Okay. We know Japan.
Maybe there'll be an NFT convention or something over there soon, and we can go make a business trip.
We agree. Well, I don't know if you agree. Japan is way ahead when it comes to technology and social advancement. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, right? How it's going to be. But Robin, is this the beginning of something that we're going to start seeing more of? Metaverse classes,
and it
classrooms?
also, it's no coincidence that this is happening in an area that is one, a little bit more progressive when it comes to lockdowns, and with with new virus strains coming up or the potential for different outbreaks in the future. This isn't the COVID pandemic. That is not going to be the last pandemic.
Well,
right?
we already have another. We had the World Health Organization deem monkeypox
but you know what I mean. I'm talking about like highly infectious, airborne.
Yeah, we're already seeing it right now with the monkeypox thing.
But that's per contact. Not.
I'm just saying, bro.
I'm just saying the next. But that's not gonna cause basically shutdowns.
We don't know that.
You need to physically. It's yeah, you gotta have fun to contract
I was like,
that.
what the hell's he doing?
So I'm just saying that, like,
no, you don't have a lot of fun.
You're not. There's a different kind of mask for that one. Put it that way. So,
we are so off the rocker.
anyways, what I was saying here is that this ain't the last pandemic, and there's going to be more. And you know what? What happened? What did we learn in 2020? What did we learn was that we weren't prepared, we weren't ready, and when we went into lockdowns, everybody was freaking out. And so if you have a system in place to where you can still go forth in education, you can still attend school, university, why not have an option in the back pocket like a metaverse where you can actually attend a professor's lecture, sit in the classroom, albeit it's a virtual classroom, but why not? And I think that is something that is coming. Whether or not the reason for it is because of a pandemic or if it's just for simple convenience, this is an area that is, for one, gonna be an option because, you know what, if you want to attend college right now, you can either go in person or you can sign up for online classes. So at this moment, it's already here.
But it's
you
not
don't
fully
need
immersive. You can be in a classroom, right? Virtually, your teacher's there. It's essentially you're in a classroom without being in the classroom. It's not just go on there. All right, now turn this in here. No, it's like you can ask questions in real time. Your teacher's
Do you even
there.
listen to anything I'm saying?
I wasn't.
You're like pushing back, and I'm like, yeah, it's here, and you're like, but it's
You just naturally piss me off. All right.
If you're gonna try to push back on one of my points that I'm making, at
I
least
wasn't
listen to the point.
I
I'm
did
making.
listen. You said it's essentially we're doing it right now. Okay, in all seriousness, we agree. Robin says this all the time, especially on around the blockchain. The metaverse isn't even close to being what it potentially can be. Should we even call it a metaverse? The way it's set up now, probably not. But if there's a country, if there's a society that would lead the charge, my money's on Japan. Your money on Japan?
I think so. Well, they also their robotics and digital engineering is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
They do have a diminishing population, and so they lack the labor force. So they subsidize manual labor, especially when it comes to assembly, with robotics. And
Japanese
also,
men, take those masks off.
yeah, and so if you lack the room or the space or capabilities to build a university, why not build it in a digital environment instead of going through and trying to hire all the laborers and outside construction company just to expand your classrooms? Why not just do it online?
Yeah,
makes sense. This is the direction we're going, anyways.
That's a good point. Robin, is there anything else you would like to add before I take us off into the sun?
I will say I did one of my pull on my laptop. One of my pastimes growing up, one of the TV shows, Care Bears.
Oh, Care
Is,
Bears. Wow.
You know,
One owner, 0 items. Are you sure this is the right thing?
It's supposed to launch a 24-hour.
Oh, auction. Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't know.
By the
I don't know
way-
the details to it, but I was just scrolling through and I was like, oh man, I used to have all of these as a
Of course you did. You little teddy bear.
little plastic guys sitting around. I think my sister had these, and they got donated to me. That's how it was growing up, man.
Look like a Care Bear kind of guy.
You don't always
you don't care anymore.
get new presents. Growing up for myself, a lot of the stuff I got my brother's old toys, sister's old toys, so you just had to make do with it. You know what? Speaking of people not appreciating their toys, I want to say, my son had a Lego set, and
Story time.
He didn't build it?
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Really? We're gonna. God, man. We're 10 minutes past. Hurry up.
So my parents keep buying my son Lego sets, right?
Those things are expensive, bro.
Yeah. So he comes in. He's over here with this big ass Lego set, and he had this for 3 years. He got it for like Christmas, like 3 years ago.
And he hasn't opened it?
No, he's got so many Lego sets. And so what he does, he like builds it and he like gives up or whatever. He loses pieces. He goes to play video games, distracted. Next thing you know, Legos are all under my foot, And so he's over here building this Minecraft Lego set thing. And it's, it's a big box. And so he's over there building it. And I come down about like 30 minutes later. It's all, whatever he built was all destroyed. And then I'm like, hey, what happened, man? And he's all like, well, I was putting it together and it's like, the 7 times I put it together and it keeps falling apart. And he's like, I'm taking a break. And I'm like looking at him like, oh, you're taking a break? You taking a break, huh? And then I'm like, I know what that means. You're just going to leave it here on the table. All the Legos are going to say, you're not going to put it together. Next thing you know, I'm stepping on Legos. So what do? I start putting this thing together. I'm putting together the base. I'm snapping all the pieces on. I'm hell of efficient too. If IKEA's taught me anything, is how to build some furniture extremely fast. And Lego, Legos is literally training you how to build IKEA furniture when you get older. But so anyway,
I love Legos, man. I still love Legos. Like once every 6 months to a year,
let's build some Legos in here. Yeah. So I did all the grunt work. My son's sitting there watching me just playing Minecraft instead of building the Minecraft. And I do all the grunt work. And then once it's like 80% done, my son's all like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "Let me get in here." I was like, "Back up." I'm like, "You lost your chance." He's like, "But it's my Lego set." I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, "You weren't gonna put this thing." He's like, "I was gonna put it together." And I'm like, "Nah."
Look at me.
Anyways, I let him finish.
I'm your captain now.
I let him finish. But I did all the hard work.
Those Lego sets are freaking expensive, but we had so much fun. Me and my two boys, when they were like 6 and 5 years old, we used to go buy the big ones, and we spent like 3-4 hours building them together. It was fun.
What kind of Lego set you want to put together? We'll do one here. Be a team building exercise.
Let's do what the hell?
We'll put one together.
Okay, yeah. We'll talk about that later.
The Star Wars ones are cool.
Yeah, Rocco, roll the outro. Throw yourself in there, please. We want to see your face. Guys, big shout out to Rob from Digital Asset News. Thank you so much for joining us on our channel and bringing your knowledge.
Can we get him back on, man?
He was great.
Really
put a 1 in the chat if you want Rob from Digital Asset News back. I will put a 1. Rob and Rocco will put a 1. The links are in the description of this video. Please go support the guests that support our channel and come visit us. It is of grave importance.
Come back tomorrow.
10:30 a.m. Las Vegas time. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, we love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Casino Lego. I was thinking the Hogwarts. Like, do you like Harry Potter? You don't like Harry Potter? Oh yeah, we talked about this earlier.
Star Wars.
There's a Lego set that's a bank that's got savings accounts.